Welcome, everyone, to the League of Women Voters Empowering You series. This program is designed by the League of Women Voters in partnership with Dayton Access Television to provide unbiased, nonpartisan information on issues that are relevant to our friends and neighbors throughout the greater Dayton area. The League of Women Voters mission focuses as much on education as it does on voting, and the League has various positions, including government, social policy, and natural resources. My name is David Bodary. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters and your host as we discuss processes for building community and exploring the City of Dayton's government systems. Our guest today is Mike Squire. Mike is the Division Manager of Community Engagement for the City of Dayton. He leads efforts to strengthen community across the 65 neighborhoods, and his work centers on building community leadership and capacity, increasing civic engagement, and fostering effective communication between Dayton's residents. He has previously served the city as Community and Neighborhood Development Advisory Board member and worked with the United Way of Greater Dayton. He was recognized as a community gem by the Dayton Daily News in 2023, and I remember reading that article. So Mike, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for sharing your time with us. My hope is together we can explore how the City of Dayton is organized in terms of its leadership and things of that nature. So I've done a little research, and my goal was to try to help me understand how this business of a council management form of government works. Clarify for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me on to you and the League of Women Voters. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk about how local government works. As the old saying goes, all politics are local, and I think that's true, and a lot of work can and should be done at our local level and with our local government. So to answer your question, I would step back to around 1913, after the 1913 flood, so way back in history, over 100 years ago. And even if I took one little step back from that, back in a little town in Virginia, the council manager form of government was established. Okay. But what many don't know in Dayton now is that Dayton popularized and really set the standard across the country for the council manager form of government. And so the reason that they established that back during the flood or after the flood was that there was concerns among residents that the city services of the time, particularly recovering from the flood, were being affected by the politics of the day. Okay. And so the council manager form of government provided insulation from the political side of the house for the professional and administrative staff to deliver services without that. And so we still have that to this day, and it's a historically rooted foundation of our local government. And what that means for us now is still true to this day. On the mayor and commission side of the house, so the elected official side, they have the Human Relations Council and the Civil Service Board that provides services to the city. But from the mayor and commissioners, they're providing strategic direction through policy, vision, communicating with residents, among many other things very important to us, like voting on the city budget and establishing ordinances and things like that. Another important feature of the council manager form of government is that our city commission hires and fires and provides accountability and oversight to the city manager. Okay. So our city manager is Shelley Dickstein in the city of Dayton. And the city manager acts as a chief executive officer in the city government. So we have about 1,800 employees at any given time in the City of Dayton organization, and City Manager Dickstein is the chief executive officer. She also has two deputy city managers that serve under her, Mr. Joe Parlett and Ms. Lachey Lofton, that provide oversight as well to the 16 different departments that we have at the City of Dayton. And so those departments go for many things that you probably know: police, fire. My department is the Department of Planning, Neighborhoods, and Development. You also have aviation and recreation and many others that I won't list them all, but they all serve very important functions for day-to-day life in the city.
So what you're saying then is, in addition to Dayton being recognized for powered flight, the stepladder, and the pop top, we're also then recognized across the nation for this council management form of government, which I didn't realize. So there.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah, innovative all the way through from the private sector and the public sector. Yeah.
That's really cool. And so that means, as you say, we have a city manager who is sort of the executive function. You said it differently. You said CEO.
Correct, yeah, Chief Executive Officer.
But then we also have a mayor, and then we have commissioners.
Correct.
So let's talk about how that works. Those are elected officials.
Correct. Yeah, and what's unique to Dayton, and I'm sure there's many other municipalities like this, but I think as you look around to other Ohio cities, what you might see is that council members are elected by wards or districts. In the city of Dayton, we elect our commissioners at large across the entire city.
Okay.
So we vote for the mayor separately, and then we vote for each commission seat. And then the mayor leads the commissioners and the commission meetings and does those functions. And so it's important to understand, whether you're in Dayton or anywhere else in the region, understanding your form of government is really critical to understand how city services are directed, how to advocate for yourself, for your neighborhood, because you understanding the basics of where things get done and how different city services are used and allocated, that's a really important thing.
Well, good. Let's dig into that then, because you really have a role within the city with the Department of Planning and Neighborhood and Development, if I understand right.
Correct.
So what do they do, and what does that mean you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So planning, neighborhoods, and development is a big department. So we have things like housing inspection, building inspection, zoning, obviously planning, which does all our planning work. We also have economic development and community development. And economic development was added to our department fairly recently, within the past 10 years. And that is critical because we all work together when we are going out to neighborhoods and into our community to make sure that we're providing wraparound services to really see our community thrive.
So you're saying then wraparound services both in terms of economically for the small businesses perhaps that want to serve in those communities or that are growing up out of those communities.
Yeah, correct. And then our community development side, which is managing HUD funding coming into the community, which is providing for things like anything from road paving to social services and everything in between.
Right. HUD being Housing and Urban Development.
Correct.
And that's
yes.
at the federal level.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. It feels sometimes like I should know this, but I don't, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are times when I'm like, all right. Much of what I understand you do involves really gathering the neighbors or neighborhoods and the leadership and things, and then also listening a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So my division in P&D, or Planning, Neighborhoods, and Development, is community engagement. And while we live in the Planning, Neighborhoods, and Development department, we really do engagement work for the entire city of Dayton. So we work with every department, most divisions, whether that's the water department, public works, with engineering, police. We recently conducted police technology meetings to provide input to the police department about the use of technology. We do a lot of work with engineering when we're restructuring roads. You might think of North Main Street recently. Mm-hmm. And so we are the liaisons with the community, both providing input internally to the organization, but also ensuring that residents are empowered and their voices are heard in decision-making processes, with things as mundane as adding a bike lane to a street, all the way up to important, the bike lanes are important, I'm a bike advocate, but also big, like influential things like police technology, and are we going to use drones and cameras and things like that.
I was going to jump in on that bike lane stuff because I think bike lanes are really important, yes. And it does make our city more attractive to people that are interested in that. And there are so many miles of bike paths in our community, and oftentimes I think we overlook how valuable that is to the rest of the world, in the sense of people that might visit Dayton specifically for adequate and actually pretty well maintained pathways. So yeah, I'm all for it. But it also affects the drivers too, right? Because as we shrink the lane of traffic, that also influences our behavior. And so understanding the connections between these things probably is also important. Part of what I heard you saying, though, is that you go out to the community and you're listening to their perspectives, whether it be on use of police technology or perhaps on the bike lanes. So what are you hearing?
Yeah, as you mentioned in the opening, we have 65 neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods are not a monolith. They are very, very differently. They're diverse from east to west to north. And even within the geographies, neighborhoods that may be side by side have very different experiences. And so, you almost have to go, and this is what I tell my team. My team has neighborhoods that they work with. I have 7 team members, 3 of which work in Welcome Dayton with our immigrant and refugee community, right, and then 4 staff that work across neighborhoods. And what I tell my team is you need to know the neighborhoods better than they know themselves. Mm-hmm. You need to know all the things that are going on. And so what we do is sit on people's front porch. we listen to what's going on individually, but we also go to neighborhood meetings. We strive to attend every neighborhood meeting every single month. Wow. And I think what I'm hearing is that there is a lot of positivity around where Dayton is going. There's a recognition that we do have a lot of issues and problems to work through as a community, but that we're in the right direction, we're making progress, but we still have some work to do. And it's really encouraging because I think what I am seeing across our community is, and what we really need across the country is a return to civic participation, engagement, and really being in community. It's the competitiveness of the city of Dayton in the region is that you can have real, true, authentic community that's diverse with people that don't look like you or act like you or speak like you right in your own neighborhood on your own street. And that is just such a unique value proposition in the region. And so, I think that there's a recognition of that we're starting to grow out of and move past the narrative that is often portrayed about an urban area in the city of Dayton in particular. And so it's exciting to see, what's ahead for that.
Absolutely. And I certainly get to see that in the classrooms that I'm at over at Sinclair and the great diversity that we've got, not just the city, because of course we're county and in fact beyond the county. So that's right. I definitely value and appreciate it as well. Along with that opportunities, there are probably some challenges as well. Are there specific challenges that you're hearing about, you recognize, and that people are working on?
Yeah, again, ranges widely. I think common things that we hear in neighborhood meetings and talking to residents can vary from issues like dumping. We have people that come into our community and drive into that alley and dump off their stuff for whatever reason. So we have a wide range from things like that all the way to the bigger societal issues like poverty that is really a challenge. I'll tell you that housing is just of primary importance to the people of Dayton. Having affordable housing, renting, homeowning, everything in between, it's on the minds of the residents of our city, and we have a aging housing stock that we're working, back towards revitalizing and building new. Right.
Well, in many ways, while the tornado was now, has it been 6 years?
Yeah, that's right.
It had a dramatic effect on housing within that section of, I guess, called North or Northwest Dayton.
Correct.
But that affects others too, because when those people look elsewhere for housing, that then displaces somebody else's opportunity for housing as well. So I don't know that we've fully recovered even from that, and certainly that isn't the only kind of challenge that we've faced along the way. So appreciate the honesty about, hey, we got some challenges, but we're also making progress.
Yeah, that's right.
Are there things that are happening at the city, maybe related to policy making, connected to access to housing? And I'm thinking Columbus has talked about, I think they're called ADUs, alternative domestic something.
Accessory dwelling units.
There we go.
Yes, I'm an encyclopedia of all these things. You know what's and again, Dayton was not the first, but we definitely were early adopters in allowing accessory dwelling units as a conditional use across the city, which is a really exciting thing because it allows our residents both some income potential, because you can take that big spot in your backyard and build an apartment on it, and it also allows for aging in place and things like that. And so we see ADUs on that particular topic as one solve of many that we need to employ. So a couple years ago, the City Commission adopted a housing policy that our department leads and has been executing on, along with many partners across the city and the county. And so we're seeing a lot of great progress with new housing being built in neighborhoods like Old North Dayton and Wolf Creek, and much more to come in Five Oaks and some other neighborhoods as well.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And positive. You're all about the neighborhoods, and you said 65 neighborhoods, which I just can't even fathom. But I'm sure if you sat with me in a map, we could take a look at all 65 of those neighborhoods. What do you see as the best ways residents are building community in those neighborhoods? What is sort of the best stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's really in the heart of the work that me and my team do. Like I said earlier, there is a return and I think a real desire to get out from behind watching streaming shows for hours on end and getting out from behind a screen and getting into community. And so we're really seeing the seeds of that starting now, where we're seeing neighborhoods like Edgemont and Belmont start to have more engagement and invigoration in the programs and things that they do. And so it's really exciting because, that I think where we will see the most progress and really where neighborhoods make a lot of impact is in the social realm, building social fabric and cohesion. I just really strongly believe that in a time where there's division and there's a lot of turmoil at the federal level, in block by block in our neighborhoods, we can really change the tenor of those discussions, and we can be good neighbors with each other.
Right. And
that just changes the conversation completely.
Well, and I would argue you don't have to agree in every way with your neighbor to still be a good neighbor.
That's right.
To have their back and to help them to know that, hey, I see that there's a raccoon that's getting into your garage, and hey, let me help you figure out how do we get rid of that, right? So, I mean, those are simple things to do, that it doesn't matter what political persuasion a person might come from. I care about you, so I appreciate that. Is Porch Fest an example of something that we could talk about there?
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. So Porch Fest was brought to us by the Collaboratory, Peter Beckendorf and the crew over there. And yeah, while Peter and the team leads it, there's just an enormous amount of volunteers, and many of them from the St. Anne's Hill neighborhood that input into that. And what's amazing about that is to see the number of people. I think this year was like a record-breaking year for attendance to Porch Fest, and it is such a great thing to show off this gem of a neighborhood in historic Inner East, right over there by Stivers High School, and both the beautiful architecture of the neighborhood. I think I'm gonna say a number wrong, but 12 or 13 historically designated neighborhoods, and each of those neighborhoods are beautiful in architecture, but what you will find in each of those neighborhoods is the reason that people stay there, and the reason you have things like Porch Fest and other events, home tours and things like that, is because the neighbors become neighbors, and that social fabric keeps people together and is what really builds the foundation for things like Porch Fest.
Absolutely. And I guess the other connector in my mind is the public library system, and that the renovation of our Dayton public libraries has really kind of opened up, I think, for many people, that community space that allows them to gather with neighbors or to discover the neighbors they didn't know they had.
Yeah, that's right. What's interesting is in neighborhoods and neighborhood associations depend on space, right? You know, when you're gathering all your neighborhoods together once a month or whatever the cadence is to talk about important issues like crime and safety and, you know, what the next potluck is going to look like and all those kind of things, you know, you have to have a space to do that in, and the library plays such a critical role in being that third place for neighborhoods in a time when, you know, people might not be comfortable going into a church or might have other things, or people don't want to go in someone else's house. And so the library serves as a great neutral point, and they host many neighborhood meetings. I would love to do a study on actually how many hours we spend in neighborhoods because they're just such a critical part of our work.
Absolutely. So as we prepare to close, is there anything else important that we haven't touched on related to the work that you're doing within the city of Dayton and the neighborhoods?
Yeah, that's right. I think there's two things. My team does an amazing amount of work. We manage grants. They manage the Dayton Tax Coalition doing free taxes for the region. We coordinate the Neighborhood Leadership Institute, which is a 42-year program that's free to our residents and others to learn about what we're talking about in a more in-depth way over a couple-month period, and just a variety of projects. I mean, my team is the best, and I should say one of the only in the whole state of Ohio. I don't know that there's another division of community engagement in any city across the state, and so, you know, takeaway for me as a resident of this city is the value that our leadership, both the city manager and the commission, put in hearing from our residents. One critique of the council manager form of government is that there's a perception then that the direct access to the administrative side of the city government is lost when you have that insulation with, and what we have seen in Dayton is that's not true, you know, because our leadership put a whole division of people that just do that work and ensure that our residents have access to the government. So, but I will say that we are not resting on our laurels. We are moving forward. We understand that. I had a friend recently tell me that, you know, old victories don't accomplish new assignments.
Okay.
And so while Dayton has had a great history of innovation in the public sphere with the council manager form of government and priority boards and neighborhood associations, we know that we need to continue to pursue innovation in the way that we engage our residents. And so more to come on that, but we have some really exciting ways that our community will be able to come to the table to deliberate together, to solve issues and come together as a community in maybe more non-traditional ways. So,
as citizens are listening and learning, is there maybe a way they could learn more, or a place they could go, phone number they can call to kind of touch base or to connect better?
Oh, absolutely. So, you know, for City of Dayton residents, I highly encourage you go to DaytonOhio.gov. If you search community engagement, our website has, we just updated this. All of my staff have their pictures, their phone number, email, what neighborhoods they're assigned to, and some of the projects that they work on. And so if you've heard anything or you live in a neighborhood and you're like, I want to get involved, so you go to that website and you can find out more information.
Perfect. So the City of Dayton, that's Dayton, is it Dayton.gov?
DaytonOhio.gov.
DaytonOhio.gov, and then you can just search for community engagement.
That's correct.
And you'll be able to find all those folks. So that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I want to thank our guest, Mike Squire. Mike is the Division Manager of Community Engagement for the City of Dayton, where he leads efforts to strengthen community across its 65 neighborhoods. So thank you. And thank you, our viewers, for staying informed and engaged. Until next time, let's keep empowering one another. Let's keep strengthening our democracy. The League of Women Voters encourages everyone to be an active citizen in our community. This includes being educated about government, social policy, and the environment, and by registering to vote and then actively voting every election. Remember, democracy is not a spectator sport. If you need help registering to vote, learning how to vote, or have ideas for our upcoming programs, you can contact the League by emailing me at league@lwvdayton.org. That's league@lwvdayton.org. You can call our office. The number there is 937-228-4041. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mike. Thank our interpreters, and have a great evening.